You're welcome back to my channel. My name is Sheila Akhare and this is my story unfiltered. So today we are privileged. I have a guest that has come to share with us their experience and teach us a few things they've learned along the way. Because yes, we know that iron sharpens iron. We cannot know it all. So once in a while, we are privileged to have people that we can learn from. They have not reached the heights. Don't come for us. But the life that we've lived so far, there's one or two things that we can share. The way we've seen things, the way we've tried to manage and maneuver, is what we're going to tell you. So if it can work for you, hopefully if it can work for you, then we thank God. So welcome with me, Christina Twinomujuni Mujisha. Yes, she will tell us. I think those are her names, if I am not mistaken.
No, you got it right.
Yes, so welcome with me, Christina. She's a friend of mine, and I'm going to tell you people that I think I've been telling her. I like her marriage. Me as Sheila, I like her marriage. They're really friends with the husband. I see them moving together, holding hands, those things that Abanyankole men don't do. Yeah, but anyway, I really admire them, and today I invited her to share with us a few things. If she's cooking matoke more than how many hours, we should know. There has to be something. Things don't just happen. So you're welcome, Christina.
Thank you, Sheila.
I'm so happy.
You.
I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
You said iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
Thank you for thinking I'm iron.
You definitely are. You are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because for starters, why I think that you're iron and that you should know.
Yeah.
It's one thing when someone who is 50 and 60 tell you something.
Yeah.
And it's another thing when someone in 30s tells you something.
Okay.
It's relatable more.
Yes.
When you're close to me, I'm like, if she's doing it, I
can also
this.
do it.
But when you're 50, I'm like, I still have time to do that.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So that is my point. Like, talk to us.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on the show, and I hope that we'll be able to learn together. I have learned a lot from other people. I hope. Well, I can share. Why not?
I know. Why not?
Yes.
Yes. So, I want us to start telling us. You tell us how long you've been married, and if it's okay, also how you met your husband. Because people are putting themselves there. Yeah. They are going to fellowships, just look around. They are going to happening places because they've told them go out,
be there, be present.
Yeah. So tell us, for you, where did you meet and how long you've been married?
Okay. Well, like you said, my names are those. There's nothing more to add. I'm called Christina Twinomujuni. My husband's name is Mujisha.
Yeah.
And I have been married a whole 7 years.
Yes, ma'am. It's long.
A whole 7 years, and I've never gone home. That is something.
Yes, sure.
Yes, and I thank the Lord.
Amen.
I thank the Lord because it's not something that you take for granted.
No, you can't.
People, like you said, and I want to say, be careful what you admire. But anyway, people walk up to me and say, "Oh, you're lucky. Your marriage is good." And in my head, I'm thinking, I don't think we should talk about luck too much. You know? Yeah. So I think this is about blessings.
Yeah.
This is about God. This is about daily choices. This is about intentionality. And we're going to talk about this more, maybe, because there's no way I can talk about marriage and not talk about choices and not talk about being intentional. Yeah, so we've been married 7 years of waking up every day and actually intentionally recognizing the fact that you're married.
Wow, every day.
Every day. Yes. How did I meet my husband? It's not a bit story of I was coming from this side and we knocked
and
each
the
other.
wind was blowing.
No, it's normal life. We were at university together, went to the same university, and we were in different faculties. I'm a doctor, he's an accountant, so school was not something that united us. but we used to go to the same church.
Oh, yes.
We are Adventists, so we used to go to the same church in the university. And I was very active in church and all that, and he was regular. So he was this regular church member, but I was in leadership.
Yeah.
So I casually, maybe not casually, but always, make sure that our regular members remain regular.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes, so I was always paying attention. We have lunch. Why are you leaving? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. Oh, we have this program next Sabbath. Please be around.
Oh, why did you miss?
Oh, why I didn't see you last time? And then he'll tell you, oh, I prayed from the other side. And, it was a cordial kind of thing in my heart and in my head. Until I was told it was only in my head.
I like.
Yes. So medical school ended, and now I'll just bother you with a bit of this detail. So I was applying for internship, and I really wanted to go to Gulu.
I'm so where?
Yeah, I wanted to go to Gulu because I wanted to explore.
You're that adventurous?
Yes, I wanted to go to a new place. I've been in Barra for 5 years. I wanted to go somewhere else. And people used to talk about Lacho, and I wanted to go to Lacho. That's all. I didn't know anyone there. I didn't know anything there, but I was told it's a good hospital, and it was far. And I didn't want to go to Kampala, so because I am those people, I choose
cleared
the other less congested places. So
I see.
Gulu was it. And somehow, the detail I'm going to give you later, somehow we got to meet, and I got to tell him, not like meet, but those random I've bumped into you. And then I told him I applied to go to Lacho. Well, finally, the list comes, and I'm in Mast. I've been placed at the referral here in Barra. And like the next day, I'm walking in campus and I meet him. And I'm really stressed.
You're
really disappointed, stressed, confused, and I'm not happy with the way God is doing his things.
I'm so sorry.
And then I bump into him, and then I tell him, can you imagine I didn't make it to Lacho? I tell you the truth. In that moment, I think he almost grabbed me and hugged me.
He
was so happy, and I didn't understand why. Because we're not even close.
I know, and you're even sad.
Why is he happy? No, why does this even mean anything to him? Long story short, I start my internship, and then he's around. He's in my inbox, but then he's those guys that say hi and come back again and say hi.
I know. As in WhatsApp already.
Yes, but I was a nice Christian girl, and I love to be polite, so it was okay. Well, maybe you just don't talk much, so it was okay. And quickly, moving forward, he started, he was always present and all that. Finally, a friend of his mentioned and said, Tina, we are going to marry you.
A friend of his?
Yes, a girl whom I thought was his girlfriend.
There we go.
Yes, she said, Tina, we're going to marry you. I said, you and who again?
I know.
Me and Mujisha. I said, Mujisha, your boyfriend, you mean?
Oh, God.
And she tells me how he likes me. And I'm like, so why hasn't he said? She's like, you ask him. Well, now I was aware.
I know.
And I was waiting for him to say
something.
And the man was not saying. Yeah. And I was waiting.
Now wondering.
Yeah, because now I was recognizing him, which I wasn't doing initially.
Yeah, now something has happened.
Yeah. I think he's those kinds of people. He prepares a lot, and at the end of the day, he's sure when he makes the step. He knows he's willing to go forward with this. Unfortunately, the other person spilled the beans too early, and on my part, it became such
A burden. Oh no.
But well, finally, he said the word.
Oh, okay.
And then we started talking really fast. We started talking, and then he started telling me how he's been looking at me for 3 years.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, why? Why didn't you talk earlier?
Yeah, why?
He's like, but there's a God in heaven, you know?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, so he tells me why he was so happy when I didn't go to Lacho.
Oh.
He tells me how he went and gave thanksgiving that I didn't go to Lacho and told God, now is my chance. Please.
Oh,
Yes.
so sweet.
So yeah, they were really sweet stories to hear. How he would mention some things from the past that I don't even remember. Yeah, he would take notice of some things, and it was a very nice way to. Why I'm telling you this whole thing is, it made it so easy for us to connect.
Yeah.
Because then he wasn't a stranger.
Yes.
I realized that he knew me the whole of medical school. He was looking at me, he was seeing my interactions, he was seeing the way I behave.
Yes.
He may not have known the details, but he knew a bit of me, and he still wanted me. So for me, that was something.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good. It was
that
a sign.
something.
Those
It was
signs
a
that
sign.
show us.
It was a good flag.
I know. A green one.
Yes, it was a green flag.
Yeah.
Yes, and so that's how quickly we became friends. We started. Yeah, for him, he was already working. I was doing internship, so it was easy for us to meet and talk, and we talked a lot, and it helped us to know each other. It helped us to get comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
It helped us to ask all the questions
That you need to ask.
Yes, and I can say in a very long summary,
Not very long.
that's how we met.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so
Now, I think I don't know if it's the reason why you guys look all lovey-dovey when we see you. Maybe because you guys you've known yourselves for forever, through all that time, talking, interacting, and
yeah.
so tell us, how have you managed to keep the spark and the friendship in this marriage? Because I can tell you from experience. Yes, the first year of marriage is such a shock.
Yeah.
Like, wow, at some point you're like, personally, I can tell you, I wondered why this guy married me when he didn't love me.
Yeah.
I asked myself so many times. I don't know if you did that. And if you did, if your first year is as not nice as many of us say, how have you managed now? You're saying 7 years. How have you managed to keep this spark?
Wow. It's not a very obvious question with obvious answers, but I will try. I'll try. One, what makes it hard is you, the one on this side, it may not be as sparkling. I always tell you to be careful what you admire.
I know.
But I'm glad that it looks sparkling.
Yeah.
That's also a step, because
sometimes it actually doesn't look sparkling.
Exactly.
People can see right through it.
People can see. So if you guys can not see through, that means we are doing something, Yeah, we are doing something. The first year, I am going to try to give you the scenarios and then make the notes. I don't want you to miss some things. My husband is a footballer. He loves football. And when I talk it like that, I hope you know what it means.
I know. I hope I can get it.
It means that he plays football sometimes way too much
than he should.
Yeah.
At least from your view.
From my point of view.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about these clubs, Manchester?
And then he really loves his club. Yeah, so he watches matches and he plays football.
My God.
Yeah? I want that sink in a bit.
It is sinking.
But I want to tell you that for the first year, a whole year of our marriage, that man didn't play football and he didn't watch a match away from home.
How? Honestly speaking, is there anything you think you did, or it was?
No.
Really?
It's him. Now,
That was a sacrifice.
when
for
we
someone
talk,
who loves
thank you. So when you ask how do you keep the spark, I want you as you to go and sit down with yourself and say, what marriage do I want? Because there are very many types of marriages. There's the effective one, there's the
functional one.
functional, there is traditional, there is sparkling, and then there is a social arrangement for people to socially know that I'm married because maybe of my job. Yeah, because of my responsibilities, maybe in the community.
I have to have a home.
I have to have a marriage, a wife on my arm when I attend parties. For you, which one do you want? And when you see what you want, then you ask yourself, what do I need to do to get where I want to be? And that brings me to intentionality. When we were beginning, I told you that I have been married a whole 7 years of waking up every day.
Realizing the fact.
And being able to know once your feet hit the ground that I'm married.
What does that mean though?
That actually means that, oh, I'm awake. What do I do as far as my marriage is concerned?
Every day.
Every day. And so for a year, every day, that man gave up what he loved so much. One, because we were just two in the house. If he left me, what would I do? So he thought beyond himself and thought of his partner. It's just the two of us. So what happens if I go out and I am having fun with my buddies and, I'm playing, but she's here. And you know how it is when we get married. 1 month, 2 months, you're pregnant.
Oh.
You're not doing anything else for yourself. You're not happy. You're
So
sick,
moody.
you're moody, everything is bad. And so he said, I will be here. I'll go through your moods. There's a day he found me in the chair crying because mosquitoes were too many.
Like you think about it, you're like, what
Yeah.
now?
And he didn't laugh.
Oh,
He didn't throw a mood. And then he laughed like tomorrow.
After when you had overcome the mood
I've
and everything.
overcome the mood. I think I was about 7 months pregnant, and probably it had nothing to do with the mosquitoes. I might
Of
have been
course.
sick, my feet might have been swollen, I might have been going through a thing, maybe I hadn't eaten the whole day. And I'm just talking about that kind of intentionality. How far do you go when it comes to putting in the work? You must be willing to put in the work. So people say, oh, you're lucky. No, I'm not lucky. I work hard. There are two different things. I am blessed, yes, because it's the Lord that blesses the work of our hands.
Yes.
But I do something. I listen. I see. I sacrifice. Do you know what it means for someone to do something every day that you don't like?
It is very hard.
Like throwing their stockings where they want, and we don't pick a fight. It means in my head I must have a meeting all the time. Every time I find stockings in the wrong place. And when I say stockings, I'm just saying the most polite I can say on screen.
I know.
Yeah? So fit there your problem. Fit it there. That one thing that ticks you off.
But even if it's the kind that goes away to watch his movie, because now we are not the same.
Yes.
Even if it's the kind that goes out to watch his matches,
Yes.
have a meeting in your head.
Exactly. To see that one thing that takes you away, because I'm telling you, he stayed for a year, but that doesn't mean that
he never went out ever.
Yeah, or doesn't mean that now I'm okay with it just because I have a house full of children. Yeah, because that's his explanation, that now you have people at home, so I can afford an hour away.
You have company.
Yeah, I have company, which is understandable, but why doesn't my heart see it? Yeah, so get that thing that, you know, takes you off, and see yourself having a meeting in your head, instead of screaming, instead of throwing a mood, instead of, you know, denying him whatever you want to deny him. Have a meeting in your head and say, but he's human, but he's nice, but you see what he did last time, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
And that is you looking for ways to let this human anger go away, so that you can forgive him, and so that that evening doesn't pass. And then when you go back to the sitting room, you'd be able to sit next to him. You have a conversation that wouldn't have happened if you were throwing a mood.
True.
So that it's all about choices. What do you want to choose? Do you want to choose a moody evening? Do you want a happy evening? Well, I think in his words, he always says we need to trick our minds. And I always said, don't use the word trick. I don't like it. But at the end of the day, it's sort of a trick.
A trick.
Ask your mind, what do I want? Which evenings are better? The ones where I'm seated next to him and we are jazzing about our days, or the ones where I'm throwing a tantrum? At the end of the day, what do I get from the tantrum?
Nothing.
At the end of the day, you know, is there progress? The day we don't talk, we don't know what will happen tomorrow. If we had something to do tomorrow, then it won't happen because we've not finalized, because I'm throwing a tantrum because he left stockings on the floor. Ask yourself, is it worth it? You understand? Yes, and that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I want to ask a question right there.
Yes.
So at what point do I now talk to him after I've had the meeting in my head? But when do I sacrifice until when?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the way you're asking that question, I can already see we are getting into conflict. We have a major conflict going on right now.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're right. Because we are humans, it reaches a point and it's in your hair. The meeting in your head gets so loud, it needs to explode.
Yes.
I want to encourage you. Married people, let us be humble. Now you see, before I'm married, I'm Christian. I fear the Lord with my head and feet.
Yes.
And I always want to say, what does the Bible say? What are the principles that it lays down for us as human beings? What are the things that are important to the Lord? You cannot separate the Lord with humility.
No, you can't.
No wonder the Bible found it so important that it should talk about how humble Jesus was, that he did not consider something to fight for, that he should be God. Yet he was.
Yet he was.
Yeah, so wives and husbands, there's all this glitter around you. You're wonderful, you're rich, you're beautiful, you come from wonderful families. You're a princess, it's what the Lord, your parents told you from day one. Just be humble though. Be humble. And why do I say that? Humility allows us to be vulnerable to our partners. Now, it's pride that tells you,
why are you wronging me?
Leave him. Let him be. It's pride that tells you, why should I be the only one?
Yes.
It's pride that tells you, I won't talk to him again. And that's pride. And pride kills marriages. Pride kills relationships. Pride builds walls. And you cannot have a marriage, you cannot have a friendship with a wall. You must be willing to be vulnerable. You must be willing to let this other person be a part of you. You must be willing to, I don't know, I hope you understand what I mean.
Do.
Yeah. And what do I mean by that? Now that I was saying it for the side of the husbands. When this lady, because we are the ones who usually have meetings in our heads, you know, they always say that behind every angry wife there's a husband
who has no idea,
who has no idea what she did. Yeah, so one thing I can tell you about us from experience that has kept us going, that has melted the clothes, because now those are the clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we need to be baptized by water and the spirit.
Yes.
The fire. The fire melts the clothes. The clothes of anger, the clothes of hate. It melts the clothes. So what has helped us a lot is we call meetings. Well, I call meetings.
Okay.
I won't lie. I call meetings. I say, babe, I want to talk to you. Babe, I think we need to talk. At first it was surprising every time he'd say, oh, when?
Okay.
He never evaded the meetings. He never said about what. And for me, that's the lesson about humility. Me, I am not a humble person. But I have learned that, okay. And so the man would say, when? Oh, I'm available, babe. We can talk. And
already the wall is
crumbling.
Yes.
Because I was this angry. If he had said what about what, I would
explode.
Yeah. But now when you talk to someone and then they say, I'm available, you know, you're forced to be humble. You're forced to go slowly. Because how do you fight someone who is not fighting you? And so I would sit down and then I would lay down my, when we were just married, I would cry. Oh, I cried. But I think I've grown. And it's a good thing to grow.
It is good.
Yeah. Also, it's because now I'm reassured. Those days I would have I would come with all this fear. I'd come with all this. You don't know how it's going to go. You don't know how it goes. And then, you know, and I think over time, because he reassures me and all that, I think it has gotten better. Yes. But I want to insist on meetings. Meet. Don't and you know, when you tell people about that, they are like, they laugh. No, a marriage is a business.
I didn't know that. Wow.
And it's the biggest, most useful business you're going to run.
Yeah.
If you can have meetings at your workplace,
why not?
If you can have meetings at church with your congregation, if you're having meetings everywhere else, why aren't you meeting at home? It's the devil's lie.
Yeah.
It is the devil's lie. It is the devil's lie. He wants you to believe marriage is something that just happens. It doesn't just happen. No, you meet, you strategize. You should have formal meetings. While I'm still at the point of meetings, you should have planned meetings. You know that in a year we meet every quarter.
Oh.
Yes, we meet every quarter.
And
we talk about the children. We talk about us.
Oh, wow.
We talk about the projects that we want to work on.
Not necessarily when you have fights and you want to lay down your problems.
No. Let me ask you something. At work, don't you meet to plan?
Oh, we do.
Don't you meet to firefight?
Yes, we do.
Why is it that we leave our marriages to chance?
We never talk about the things.
Yeah, like, you know, we just get married and then we just
let it go with
it's like having a child you don't feed. And you want them to grow. How?
They will die.
You don't feed them, you don't take them for hospital checkups, you don't take them for medical attention, and then you also don't take them to school, and you also don't take them to church. But you want them to grow and be wonderful. And then when you see the neighbors' children, you're like, oh, you're so lucky. Your children look so good.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yes.
So you have to.
It's what it is. So have meetings, planned meetings.
Yeah.
Don't shy away from this. actually meet over coffee or tea and have notebooks and, computers and things and make plans. Back to conflict resolution. Hold meetings to firefight.
Yeah.
So when we're having an issue, call a meeting. And this shouldn't only come from the one who is offended. If you've noticed your partner is not happy, is struggling with something, call a meeting. Say, babe, I think we should talk. You don't look well. Let's have tea in the evening. I like to use that because personally it works for me. I would rather have this meeting outside home.
Yeah.
Because I'm not interrupted, and I like if we have started talking about something, we talk about it until we make up, until the end,
Until it's concluded.
Until it's concluded. I don't want us to be somewhere and then the child runs into the bedroom and then we have to hold our emotions and then
I know.
No. So all the 7 years we've had these meetings away
Outside.
from home. Yeah. And sometimes when you see us out, you're like, oh, mama.
They're out again.
Sometimes we are firefighting.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah. Wow.
So that's a very, very, and when you're humble, like I said, you're both willing to listen to each other, and you're both willing to admit that, there I was angry at you, okay, I was wrong. And then you're also willing to admit, okay, there I hurt you, I was wrong, forgive me. And so at the end of this meeting, do not, there are two things. I have seen some things in my life, and I have seen some people go through pains they don't need. Now, your friend has said, you don't look well, can we talk? And then you're like,
I'm okay.
I'm okay. I don't want. And then they say, I was wrong, forgive me. And they're like, for how long will I forgive you? Me, I don't want. Why? What do you want?
For example.
For example, what do you want?
I am still hurt. I am annoyed. I want to prove the point and hold it for 2 weeks and show you that I am annoyed.
So while you're proving the point, what are you gaining?
I'm hurting.
You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your children.
Yeah.
You're hurting your partner. It's something I want you to know, that even when they've offended you, most times they've not intended to offend you. Because we are humans, we will offend each other. And we should know this because we've been in high school relationships, we've had family relationships, we have siblings. There are days you offend someone, you say something or you don't do something, not really because you wanted to offend them, it just happened because you're human.
If only we can remember
And
that.
so when this person, when you say sorry, sincerely say sorry, and they hold their own, it hurts you.
You're also offended, actually.
You're also offended. And these are things that hurt our marriages. And so he apologized. And let me give you an example of us, of men. Men they might have, listened to this YouTube video and they felt like, okay, let me try. And then he comes and he's holding his breath here and he's like, I have to try out this. He's like, I have to apologize. It's not something I do, but let me try. And then he says, I am so sorry, I did wrong. And then you're like, he was trying. He put in his all. And then
He may never
you just throw it over and then he's like, well, what's the use?
I know.
He says it's safer to remain me. This marriage thing,
It's not going.
I think that girl on TV was lying. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So one, we should be willing to be humble, and this is for both sides, the offender and the offendee. Okay, we should be willing to see what we want. What was the goal of the meeting? Was it proving a point, or it was clearing the air? Was it about who is right and who is wrong, or it was about clearing the air?
Expressing your feelings.
Expressing yourself, feeling heard. And so if you've expressed yourself and someone has heard you, why are you still holding your own?
Wow.
Yeah. So you realize that at the end of the day, life is what we live today. And I want to put a verse there. Psalm 90:12. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Now, for me, the second part of the verse is what speaks to me even more. Not numbering your days is foolishness. Yeah? That we may gain a heart of wisdom. Now, this day you're losing because the man apologized, but you want to teach him a lesson. Man, you're acting like a fool. Because you don't even know your calendar.
Yeah,
This is the day you had. Well, I'm not being pessimistic, but it's the truth.
So true.
It is the truth. Yeah, so we love to maximize our days in my house. My husband always says, I don't want to lose any moment.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we shouldn't lose any moment. Yes, don't lose your moments because you want to prove a point. Then what? Are there medals I don't know about?
No, they're not.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just blood pressure, high blood pressure, and the rest waiting on the other end.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So I wanted to ask, from the fact when you said that you wake up every day and you realize that you're married. Now, driving from that point, we are married and we have responsibilities, especially as women.
Yeah.
I don't know, but sometimes I feel like the husband can literally get out of bed, shower, put on his clothes, and go to work. But as a mom in the house, you can't.
No, you can't.
You just can't.
You can't. And I'll tell you my thoughts on that.
So that's my point. That's what I want you to tell us.
Yes.
When you wake up that day, how do you balance that the fact that you're Christina? You also want to feel good. You want to be happy. You want to feel relaxed and not tired and not exhausted.
Yeah.
Even when you woke up probably in the middle of the night to
check on a sick child.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have to make sure
when he was snoring.
Very much.
Yeah, it's very important to note.
And then the children are going to school, and even himself actually, he left the house when he's put together. You have to make sure that he's okay. Yeah. Even when you're like, you're old, you look after yourself, but somehow
you have
also
to.
culture.
He'll ask you where his shirt is.
Or his stockings.
Yeah.
How do you manage all that and still feel safe?
And still be his friend.
Exactly.
Yeah. How? How? To reassure you. I'm sure you have your days. I have my days too. For a while I asked myself, why does the girl go through this? Why?
Have you stopped? I still sometimes ask myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to set priorities. Know what protects your mind.
Okay. What do you mean?
What do I mean? If you found that a maid boiled your child, thank you for that reaction. I can already see what protects your mind.
Oh God.
And if your boss let you go,
it's okay.
Which of the two will set you off the bridge? Set your priorities.
Wow.
Okay. Number 2, accept the fact that you cannot deliver 100%.
Yeah.
In all the areas. Tell yourself that if I perform like this,
it's okay.
And then allow yourself time. Allow yourself not to be superhero.
Give yourself grace.
Give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Allow yourself to come home one of these days and walk straight to your bedroom and close the door. Pray, cry, sleep.
Yeah.
Allow yourself. Unwind.
Sure.
Well, people will tell you all sorts of things. People will tell you all sorts of, worries. People will tell you how they, want to reach the moon. Only people who are alive will reach the moon.
You have to make sure you stay alive.
Just make sure you stay alive.
Oh God. Yeah.
So set priorities. Know that I am a mother, I am a wife, and I am working. Don't compete with people you even know nothing about. You're at a workplace and you're competing with a young, unmarried, ambitious lady. The two of you are in different niches.
Yeah, sure.
You have different responsibilities. You have different priorities.
Yeah.
I have interacted with people. I have seen people. I have listened to people's stories. My friend always said, no, I watched that in a movie. Why do you have to step on landmines that I have already stepped on and I'm trying to warn you about?
No. I'm telling you there's a landmine.
Yeah, I'm telling you there's a landmine here. And you still want to step there to see for yourself. Why? We've seen these things. We've seen people have thrown themselves into work, forgotten their families, and 30 years later, they cannot understand how that happened. Must we step on the same landmine?
No, we shouldn't.
Find a balance.
Yeah.
Know that this is how much I can give to work. Or know that my family comes first. Know that, I can, where that works for me.
I know. But yes.
It's a disclaimer.
Like you said, find your priorities.
Exactly.
If work is more important.
If work is your priority, great.
By all
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, as a married woman with 3 children, at some point they were all below 5.
Yeah.
At some point, I went to my boss and I said, I can't work.
I know.
I would literally stand at my workplace and just look towards my home.
Oh.
And I would stand there and look and I would want to cry. Why? I had a newborn and a toddler. I don't even know if they're called toddlers.
Yeah,
Below 2.
At that point.
1 year and a half.
An infant.
Almost an infant. And I would imagine all sorts of evils.
I know.
I would imagine
social media
hunger. I would imagine falls. I would imagine slaps. I would imagine things. And I went to my boss and I said, I can't work. I can't. I just can't. This has to be looked into. And God bless his soul. The man was so kind. And he said, okay, what can we do? We adjusted the schedule and I was home for a year.
Yeah.
To make sure my babies got out of
that fragile state.
And they are able to maneuver in the life, and then I can go back and work full time. And so what I'm saying is, know your priorities. What works for you, find it. Find where your heart is. So what I'm driving at is, at the end of the day, happiness comes from finding who you are.
Yeah.
And what's the point of being alive and not being happy?
I don't see the point either.
Sure, what's the point? It's what I was saying. Why should you stick to being angry when there's a chance to be happy?
Oh dear Lord.
Yeah. So
choose happiness. Like the Bible says, choose life.
Choose life.
Wow. That's so...
No wonder my husband calls them tricks. Trick your mind. Choose happiness. Yeah.
For crying out loud.
Choose happiness. So if something really, if family is what brings me utmost happiness, prioritize it. And I don't want to shy away from saying this, Sheila. I do want to believe that we work as a means,
of course,
to provide for something that makes us that gives us fulfillment.
Yeah.
And when you look around, do you actually realize that that goes back to family.
Of course, I work for my family.
Work for your family. You work so that your children have food. Do you realize that the happiest moments are the moments you have with your family, but you have everything else you need?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can't have everything else I need
without working.
Yeah.
And so do not work at the expense of the people you're trying to provide for. To work for, it doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
It's hard to understand. I'll give you that. But if you sit down and think about it so long, you will realize that it makes a lot of sense.
But on that note, for example, there's a time when you went to your boss and said you can't work.
Yeah.
To realize, probably because, in a way, still your family could go on.
Yeah.
There's someone who may not have that luxury.
Yeah.
What can they do? If they leave work, their children are going to go hungry.
Yeah.
So at that moment, what's the best way to go?
That's a tough one.
Very tough.
That's a tough one. But at the end of the day, whatever you have at your disposal, use it, but in a way that still falls in your priorities. I have seen women on the street in the middle of the night, but with their babies, all covered up in warm hoodies. You can realize this is a mother who doesn't have any other option, but that's their priority.
I'll come with my baby.
I'll come with my baby, but I will keep them warm. I will keep them happy. I will keep them covered up. Yet you've seen others.
Yes, I know.
It might be different. So whatever you have at your disposal, just try to actually set your priorities on paper. And that will guide your options. It will guide your choices.
You'll be surprised.
And you'll be surprised. Exactly. When you've actually put it on paper. The mistake we do is that we don't put it on paper. We just live through life. Like, oh, what can I do? Yeah? Oh, what can I do? Put it on paper and we see if there's something we can do. And then that will give us, different, directions.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed.
And at the end of the day, you will be fulfilled.
Yes.
Because you're making informed choices, informed decisions. You're not just going through life and, be perplexed and what. No, it's something you sat down and thought about and said, I am going to work with my baby and this is what we are going to do. And this is how I'm going to protect my baby. And this is how I'm going to keep her happy. And this is how we're going to be alive. And so at the end of the day, you remain alive.
I know.
Yeah.
Because those are things that keep us alive anyway. Yeah. Wow. Speak to someone who is newly married, because to some people, the first year goes on. That year when you're shocked and you're learning to live together and things are interesting, it goes on for some people. And someone in that situation may not know how to navigate life. They might think they're in a wrong marriage or something. Yeah. Speak to someone who's in that space.
I want to give you a disclaimer for this one because it's very important.
Yeah.
I'm going to refer to my notes.
Yeah, please.
I don't want to forget my point and then I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had told them this. Maybe, maybe I would have saved someone's life.
Yeah.
I would like to combine that with those aspiring to be married.
Yes, please.
In fact, let me start there. You're courting, you're looking at marriage. First of all, I want to say marriage is good.
Yes, ma'am. It is good.
Marriage is good. Today, even on my worst day, if you asked me if I want to be married, I'll still say yes. Yes, I want to be married.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to stay in my marriage. I'm not happy right now, but I love my marriage.
I know.
So, marriage is good. And as a believer, for me, that's because everything the Lord ordained is good.
It is.
Sin came here and things got messed up. It cannot change the original plan. It cannot take away the original beauty. So marriage is good.
It's good.
Marriage has had its problems because sin came and then there is a lot of trouble around it. But marriage is good. It's good. And then there's so much going on and people have tagged marriage all these words and people have said all these things and all these practices have come up. But marriage is good.
It's good.
Now that's one thing I want to say. 2, I'm sorry to burst your bubble.
Yeah.
We don't marry for ourselves.
We marry for who?
We marry for God. We marry for duty.
Oh, wow.
We marry.
To fulfill God's purpose.
Yeah, this
Interesting.
is a hard one. I bargained on whether to say it or not. But I hope someone, if you don't understand it, just leave it. We marry for growth. Originally, marriage was just a blessing that God gave humans to enjoy. Companionship and beauty. But now that we have seen, marriage becomes much more. It becomes an avenue for growth. It becomes an avenue for sacrifice. It becomes an avenue for us to practice selflessness. If you weren't married, how would you know that you can live for someone else? Why would you live for someone else?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you stay up waiting for someone who is on the bus? Or why would you stay up looking after someone who is sick? Or why would you be having meetings in your head trying to okorereza someone who has offended you?
You just move on.
No, it wouldn't happen. Plus, no one says I should maintain a relationship with someone who is not making me happy. I just get you out of my list and life moves on. But this is a partner. I am told till death does us apart, which means if I want to be happy, why don't I work out this
thing?
We said happiness is the goal. So this has to be solved. I want to be happy. I want a conversation in the house. I want my children to know that their parents love each other. And it's a big deal to them.
Yes.
There's a picture in a house that has words down there, Jim loves Tina. And I think it's such a highlight in the children's lives.
Oh.
You're there and they're just singing, Jim loves Tina, Jim loves Tina. And recently I told my husband, I think that thing makes them happy. It reassures them.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, daddy loves mommy. So we are safe. We are just safe.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to happen, you know? And so marriage becomes that thing that is bigger than us. Before you marry, don't force it. Don't force a relationship. Be wise. See the red flags and accept the red flags. Say
don't
no.
Pretend like they're not there.
Don't color them.
Yeah.
Don't color them. Don't dip them in green paint. When you reach and you wash, it won't even take a month. The green paint will go off. And then they'll be red.
And you're stuck for the rest of your life.
And you're stuck. And then for us, the Christians will come and say, let's pray. We'll come and say, oh, be patient. We'll come and say, be humble. And all this time you're crying.
Then you shouldn't have.
Let's see red flags for what they are.
Yeah.
And on that point, I want to mention that when people start courting, they move ahead of themselves. We become so physical, very fast, before we talk. I hope you know what I mean.
Yes.
You should know that the moment you're physical, your eyes are not working
anymore.
Your ears will not hear. You're stuck. You're entangled. Before that happens, say, well, I will tell you what I think. Because we are not very related. I think this is a spiritual thing. I don't know. But getting physical sort of steals that from you. It steals that ability for you to see red flags for what they are. It's very easy for you to be able to grow your relationship when you're not physical.
Yeah.
I know how wonderful it feels, and it's all what you're looking forward to. Delay it. Talk. Grow. Know the person. Know where they come from. Manyuruganda rwabo. know what they eat, know how they held Christmas seasons, know what their father was like, know what their mother was like. I talk more than you get physical.
Yeah.
Talk about it all. Talk. No, does this person want to have children? How many do they want to have? Have this person's worldview. For them, what do they believe in? What are their values? Do they prefer work to children? Do they think it's more important to grow rich than to have children? When we reach marriage, will we first build before we have children? Talk about those things. Say the details. Do you want a dog or a cat?
I know. Like, go deep. Talk about everything.
It's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's what I mean. And you think marriages are killed by what?
By those
Daily
details you
little
talk about.
resentments.
Yeah.
That
Keep building.
finally people break up, and if you ask them what happened, they wouldn't say he cheated. They wouldn't say he beat me. They wouldn't say he talked back at my mother. That didn't really happen. None of those big things happened. They would just say, I just got tired.
Of what? They can't say.
They can't say because they are small daily resentments
That have built
that
up.
were not solved in real time. And some, it's because they didn't take the time to know this person. And then this person is like, well, that's who I am.
I know.
Everyone is holding their own. And then there's just a lot of unnecessary friction.
Yeah.
Take your
Wow.
time.
Know about
Take your time. Know this person, know their people. I am not saying take your time forever.
No, you're saying know the person.
I'm saying know the person.
Yeah. Not take that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm saying know the person. When we are married, when you read that chapter 5 of Ephesians,
Yeah. I know that one.
you know that one. I know. I mean, we've read it over and over and over.
Yeah.
Today I want to say something. When the Bible says, I actually have it here, I want to read it. When the Bible says, wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. The Bible is not saying, Sheila, submit to your husband when he loves you. No. God called you as you and gave you a call and told you to do something. And so you're supposed to do it without checking what the other is doing.
He's doing.
And the other is supposed to do what they're supposed to do without checking what you're doing. And that's why I'm telling you, marriage is complicated. Go into something that is a bit clear. Don't just walk in. No, prepare. And if it's not working, break off the engagement.
Than breaking the marriage.
Yeah, tears of a broken engagement cannot compare to the tears and the pains of a broken marriage.
Yeah.
Okay? And so when I'm telling you that you're going to have to submit to a husband, he did not say submit to the ones that love you, submit to the ones that dress nicely, submit to the ones that speak the way you want, submit to the ones that have money. He said to a husband, the moment you accept him to be your husband, submit.
That's it.
And it's over for you.
You have no excuse anymore.
Yes.
To make.
And so it's what it is. Submit as to the Lord. And so you cannot know this verse if you don't know the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you must go back and ask yourself, how do I submit to the Lord again? What does the Lord say and how have I submitted? So submit to your husband as to the Lord. Husbands, love your wives. And that is verse 25. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. How much are you willing to sacrifice? How much? And so I will take you back to choices. You just have to choose. What marriage do you want? Is it the one they're talking about here or a different one? And then you will know what to do. It will be painful. But what does the Bible say again? that we die to self. Which death has ever been painless? Yeah.
Yeah.
But to reassure you, it's a sweet kind of pain.
Yeah, because then it comes back.
It comes back to you in colorful ways.
I know.
Yeah, it really does. And human beings, God made us in such a way that we respond to godliness. Now, when a husband is being godly to you, towards the wife responds to that godliness. When a wife is being godly and behaving as God would have her behave, the husband responds. Yeah, but all I'm saying is, don't demand it. Don't demand to be loved before you submit. It's not
do
your
work
call.
and let the other
respond to your call.
Yeah. Let
Respond
God work
to your
in the
call,
other one.
and let God do his work in the other person.
Wow.
Every day counts.
Wow. Thank you so much. When they say, what do they say? That we stayed here until the cows came home.
Indeed, they've come home.
Forgive our lights. The conversation was too good. We couldn't let it go.
Yes.
But I can only hope that you will see us through.
Please do.
But thank you so much, Christina. I've been so much blessed. It's been so wonderful. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish we could go on, but we can't.
Yeah.
It is okay. We shall come back another time to talk about other things. But it's been wonderful. Thank you for sparing time and for speaking to us.
Yeah, why not? Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah.
I am honored.
Oh, that means a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can only hope that you picked something, because surely she has told us a lot of things. Me, I picked so many things. Like on each question I asked, I was like, okay, that one. And meanwhile, not to get tired of doing the good work, even if it is only you doing it, please keep doing it. Yeah. One day it will reward you. Yeah. Yeah, surely. I'm so blessed, and I can only hope that you've been blessed. We've been at Acacia Hotel. They have a 10% discount this festive season. Please bring your families and enjoy. This place is nice. It's greeny and oh my God. And flowery. You should come. And they also have former Kosia in Nkokonjeru. You can also visit there and you will have fun. Otherwise, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Share, subscribe, and we shall see you next time. Bye.